Hi, I'm your host, Steve Turney.
And I'm Carrie Brown. And today we're talking about digital marketing and personal brand. And I'm sharing a little bit about my story and how I connect digital marketing and mental health awareness.
Plus, she shares some really great digital marketing secrets. So stay tuned. Let's go. All right, welcome to The Boost, conversations with people promoting mental health. And I'm here with Kari Brown from ABH Connect. How are you?
I'm great, Steve. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to connect with you. And you actually happen to, this is total coincidence, work out of Franklin, Tennessee, where we shoot our podcast, which doesn't always happen, to have an expert like you right in our back door, so in our backyard. So that's awesome. It's great to meet you in person. We haven't actually connected in person before.
Yeah. And then we know we run in the same circles, know the same people, but that's just how it is in Franklin.
It is.
It's really wild. It's a small town, but it's also huge. So.
Yeah. And it pulls creatives. I mean, musicians from California and both coasts. And then, healthcare is trickled down from Nashville, certainly. But it's a really special city.
It is. I've been here for 25 years.
Okay.
And I love it. I don't think I'm ever going to leave. It's just, and I've seen it evolve over the years.
Yeah.
And there's no place like home.
Oh, in the last two and a half decades, certainly. Yeah. What if you had to say what is the most different thing from when you got here to now? What would you say?
Too many people.
People go on.
Downtown Franklin, they've just done a phenomenal job of making that amazing, and bringing in the right shops and restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. I think downtown Franklin is my favorite still, but there's a lot of people, a lot more people, it seems like, than 25 years ago.
Oh yeah, has to be. Yeah, I don't know what the exact count is, but it is a lot more popular than ever.
Which I know is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, businesses and
more business.
It's vibrant community for sure. Traffic is something to contend with for sure.
Yes.
But we run our conference here at the factory in Franklin, and then this amazing space that this podcast studio is actually in called Harbor and Union. So we'll use that space and then overflow into this space as we've grown. And it's turned out to be one of our favorite spots. But people love to come from all across the country and then hit downtown and the restaurants. And then the shops here at the factory are super cute, boutiques and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Fun fact, the factory was one of my first clients.
That's
as a
fun.
Marketing agency.
The factory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you land them?
Great question.
Yeah.
My business partner and I, we had about 12 years ago, we started our first marketing agency called Social Marmalade. And we worked with a lot of the businesses around downtown Franklin, O'More College of Design.
Okay. Yeah.
The factory, and great guy named David Pack hired us. And we were able to kind of launch their social media program.
Oh my gosh.
So, and this is when everything was, they had these big dreams for what the factory would look like. Mm-hmm. And they knew they needed a digital presence. So we were able to come in and help them do that. Mm-hmm. And it was just an amazing experience. And one that, I learned so much as a youngish digital marketer. Mm-hmm. We were all young digital marketers back then. It hasn't been around very long.
Yeah, social media marketing back then was super cutting edge and like kind of blurry. What are we doing? How are we figuring it out?
Exactly. We were learning as we went. So it was very cool. And it's just been amazing to see how far they've come since then. So.
Yeah, they did get an infusion a few years ago with a buyer that came in, a property group that put, I think, $50 million into this, into the factory, and attracted a whole bunch of restaurants. And it used to have a real, not crunchy vibe, but it used to have a real kind of like, like those like antique stall. Like, you know, I don't know. I'm not like doing this a justice, but like there was like these kind of funky, quirky booths.
Yeah.
And now it's like next level.
Yes.
Yeah. I love coming here.
Yep.
Well, I want to hear a lot more about ABH Connect. I want to make sure we get to these first two questions before we get too much farther, which is the virtual hug and the shameless plug. So the virtual hug is tell us somebody or something that you are grateful for today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big question.
That's a good one. There's so many people.
You can do 2. You can do 8. We could spend most of the time on this question.
I would typically say my husband, you know, and give him a big shout out.
Yeah. Most people do.
But that's kind of cliche.
Everybody does it. And he's awesome.
I would say my team.
Okay.
I have the right team, and they are really empowering me and empowering the company, and they step in and get stuff done when I need them to. And so I just was thinking about that earlier today, actually, how grateful I am to have a team that is, you know, can handle just about anything I throw their way. So I've got a great team, and I'm very thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can't beat a great partner and a great team. And that's a perfect segue into the shameless plug, which is, as a marketer, you know, give us that elevator pitch or just describe what ABH Connect does and what you do.
Absolutely. So ABH Connect, we are a small marketing agency based out of Franklin, and we've been around for about 6 years now, which we feel like is a victory. And we serve small businesses with full service marketing. So when I say small businesses, our clients are anywhere from, you know, pre-revenue startups to 10 million, 15, 20 million in revenue. Okay. And so founder-led, usually companies, and we can come in and we can support them with any marketing strategy. We usually start with a strategy. Okay. And then we execute.
Yeah. You're the blend of strategic and tactical, right?
Yeah.
You run the gamut.
Yes. Yeah. And we stay lean as a company so we can help smaller businesses.
Okay. All right. So these founder-led or, you know, small, mid-sized companies come to you. When you started 6 years ago, what was the gap that you saw? Because there's marketing firms, you know, we've had marketing firms, and you're obviously finding traction and success. And so what is it about your firm that helps them in a unique way?
Yeah. So before ABH Connect, I worked for a great website development firm in Brentwood.
Oh, nice.
I was running their digital marketing side. They actually purchased Social Marmalade. And so I was doing that, and I noticed that the model of that particular type of agency, there was not much room for smaller businesses. It was really difficult for them to successfully serve small businesses with that particular model. And so I thought to myself, maybe I could figure out how to do this. You know, it seemed like a challenge, and I was kind of ready to get back into the entrepreneur world. So I went for it.
Nice.
And I figured it out. I don't have a big office space. I don't have a big staff. I work with local, not only local, but amazing people from all over the world to help me execute for my clients. Okay. And so, and everybody's a contractor, freelancer, and they do their thing, you know, and I stay out of the way. And it's been a beautiful thing so far. We've been able to really make it work.
That's beautiful. I mean, from even my perspective, you know, having a small company, you know, founder-led company, to have an organization that I could rely on to really get some stuff done without breaking the bank. You know, I mean, you think, oh, I can't afford an agency quite yet. We need to just home roll this stuff ourselves. But, you know, maybe I'm missing out on some of that expertise that I don't have in terms of digital marketing. I mean, I certainly speak the language, but it sounds like you've figured it out for that either solopreneur or, small business that you really help them out.
Yeah, the founder-led businesses we work great with because it's usually the CEO that's doing the everything. And so, we just come alongside them, and we become kind of part of their, ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we support them in whatever way they need. So we make agency accessible to them.
Okay.
Which I'm very proud of.
Nice. What does ABH stand for?
Abby, Brennan, and Henry. Those are my three kids. And that's the whole reason I started my own business, is for them. And I was a single mom at the time. So, they were my reason. And so I decided to name it after them, and they loved that. Yeah. They loved it.
Abby, Brennan, and Henry.
Yeah.
They're in there. They're baked into the vision and the mission for what you're doing. I mean, my daughter is going on, she just turned 10, actually. She's not going on 10 anymore. She's there, and she's a big part of my mission and what I'm doing, and what I want to leave behind, for her and set her up for success. So back to these founders, this is going to turn into just therapy for me, marketing therapy. What are their problems? Like what are the gaps that they bring to the table that you obviously help solve for?
Yeah, so they usually don't have the budget to do a lot. They don't have the knowledge that you need to execute digital marketing. I mean, digital marketing is just becoming such a specialized industry.
Yeah, and technical.
It's art and science. Yep. You really almost need a degree to be a advertiser or a social media manager, or it's all over the place. So a lot of times these founders, they're just they don't know the next thing to do. They want to grow, and they need help growing, and they don't want to waste their dollars. Yeah. Right? They want to make sure that their dollars are precious marketing dollars are being spent wisely. Yeah. So that's the biggest problem that we usually see is the founders are just overwhelmed. Yeah. And they don't know where to start. So that's the first problem we solve.
That's the first problem. Of many. First problems of many.
Yeah.
And what about in this space specifically, like the mental health space or behavioral health space, as you've run into, I don't know, various challenges or the idiosyncrasies of this industry? Like when you look at it as a marketer, I mean, it's, one of the reasons we exist is because it's been a late adopter, and also in terms of healthcare marketing, even like the last one to come around, it's like dentists are doing a better job, than mental health marketing. And of course, ortho and health systems, they're doing what they can and trying to push the boundary toward consumer marketing. But for behavioral health, what do you see when you look at the space?
I do see that, they are playing catch up. And it's challenging to run your organization really well, and staff, have someone on your staff that can help you with your marketing. Yeah. And then I have several people that I know that are they have their own private practice. And they just don't have the time, right, to do the social media that you need to do, and again, they just don't know where to start. Yeah. So and then they see somebody who's just rocking it on social media, and they're like, I could never do that. I don't have the time to do that. How do they have the time to do that?
I don't have the tools.
Yeah, the tools. So, it's sometimes it's just so challenging to know where to start.
Yeah. So I've lived agency life a little bit, and sometimes our agency was the last quote unquote client that we would think about. We would be our own worst marketer because we're so busy. And so from a just sort of an empathetic standpoint, because a lot of our listeners probably just really resonated with what you said, like, oh yeah, I have those feelings. I have those thoughts. And I wish I could put out that kind of video or this kind of consistency. But I saw a fun post of yours the other day, which was, hey, I mean, my own personal brand, I got to remember to like recenter and refocus on that. So talk about personal brand and maybe a little bit about what you're going through in terms of personal brand development.
Yeah, so it's all about bringing your authentic self to the table. And so that's what I'm trying to do with my personal brand.
That's it. That's really it. Bring your authentic self to the table.
Yep. And the influencers that I follow in your space and in my space are the ones I like the most are the most authentic and the most real and deal with the most real subjects. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I am one of those people who just got so caught up in my client work that I neglected my own personal brand. So I'm playing catch up as well. So, it is what it is. And so you just start somewhere. And but you do need to be strategic about your personal brand.
Okay.
You do need to have your profiles set up so that social media profiles are indexed on Google. So it's a great way for people to find you. And you don't have to have all the profiles. You can start with one place. If you're B2B, you're going to want to start on LinkedIn. If you're, kind of visual in the visual space, you're going to definitely need to be on Instagram, or the B2C space. And then, Facebook is still relevant. Depending on who your target is.
The therapist crowd loves Facebook groups.
Really?
I think they love, I don't know. There's so many thriving Facebook groups. It shocks me because of how little I like using Facebook myself. But it's funny because I would totally agree. B2B, LinkedIn, visual, maybe think about TikTok, but definitely Instagram. We got to nail that. Twitter, no one knows what's going on with Twitter these days. It used to be so neat, back when Wendy's was like so sassy and like, talking about their square burgers. And then, but then Facebook is, I don't know if it's early mover advantage or just connected with a certain demographic that grew up with it, and now we're kind of stuck with it.
I think that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I avoid eye contact with Facebook as much as I can.
It's one of those,
but it's effective. It can be.
It is, and it's one of those necessary evils, and it's the demographic is generally 40s, 50s, and above. So
sure. How long has it been around?
Facebook?
25, 30 years? I don't know.
I wouldn't say that
20
long.
years?
I think it's been somewhere between, around 15 to 20 years.
Okay. We'll fact check this later.
Yeah, like 2008, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Guessing.
That's a great guess. We'll fact check this.
I'm guessing.
Because I just walked us into waters that we're guessing at how old something, but it's about that. It's about 15, 20 years, which is a long time for a piece of technology.
Yep.
And there is this idea that that shows itself, like when we look at the galaxy or the universe, we look at the age of stars or planets. You can look at a star or planet and kind of guess that as long as it's been around is about how long it's going to be around. So like young stars and planets are more likely to fizzle out in a short period of time, and old planets and stars are on average going to be around for about that long. And so I think it's the same with tech. Like technology that has been around a long time is most likely to be the technology that stays around for a long time. And so that's interesting to me. I think Facebook has that advantage.
Yep, absolutely. And they still have some good advertising options on Facebook, so you can get your content. I mean, you pretty much have to do that now unless you have a good, strong group, like you mentioned. you pretty much have to, advertise now to get your content in front of the right people on Facebook.
Okay. So it still works. You have to
Yeah.
pay for it though.
Yeah.
There's no real
Yeah.
organic cracking the algorithm.
No,
unless you're a
not
celebrity
really.
or something.
Not anymore. There was, but I am a big believer of using your personal Facebook account to, every once in a while. You can't go all in on business on your personal account. They will punish you for that.
Okay.
But I think every once in a while, posting your, what you're doing in business, making it part of your, rotation.
Yeah.
What you're posting on Facebook is a great idea.
Okay.
Because you're getting in front of your whole network. People you went to college with, people you went to high school with, people you go to church with, everybody.
Yeah.
So absolutely leverage that platform from time to time. Don't annoy people to death with it, but talk about what you're doing in business. People want to know. People want to know.
5, 10, 15, 20% of the time you can, it's like that jab, jab, jab. And then you give them a lot of content, give them a lot of you. And then once in a while there's either not a pitch per se, maybe it's a pitch, or at least like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm working on.
I think a lot of us, myself included, shy away from self-promotion.
Yes.
We are scared of it.
Totally.
We judge it. But we have to do it. It's just the world that we live in now.
Yeah.
And, as long as you're authentic about it and real, then it's a good thing.
Yeah.
We have to change our mindset and perception on self-promotion.
It's why we have the shameless plug is actually, I was like going through that, whatever, not imposter syndrome, but like I was going through that shame of, I don't want to mention my conference too much, or I don't want to mention the email marketing that we do or whatever. And I thought, no, we have to be able to just say it.
Yeah.
Like we're marketing some of the best stuff out there, which is how to access good mental health care and how to build, not just effective mental health marketing, but ethical mental health marketing, to reach people the right way at the right time. There's like another sort of bottom line to serve when we're talking about, reaching people who are in crisis, who might be desperate for any service, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to impact.
Yeah.
When you're out there talking.
Yeah.
And
for
sharing
sure.
your journey and sharing about what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk more about your journey and your story. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more with Carrie Brown right after this. At Turn Productions, we craft experiences that connect, engage, and inspire. From dynamic conferences to powerful storytelling, we bring ideas to life through planning, production, and promotion. So your audience doesn't just listen, they remember. Ready to make an impact? Let's build something unforgettable together. Visit turn.productions to get started. All right, we're back with more from Carrie Brown from ABH Connect. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into what you said about the digital space and how there's some complexity to it. Maybe that conjures up a little bit of fear for your clients, but talk us through kind of what you see going on right now in the digital marketing space. What's working for this size organization specifically, a small, mid-sized founder-led company, and maybe where they need to be looking or where you're guiding them in terms of digital marketing specifically.
Yeah. So I would say the social media, really, if you haven't started anywhere, social media is a great place to start. Beyond that, I think the misconception is that marketing is so expensive, and digital marketing is so expensive. And it can be, but there are ways to do it, on the cheap.
Okay.
Not super cheap, but there are ways to just kind of get started.
What are some of those efficiencies?
So one of my favorite things is still email marketing.
Heck yeah.
I mean,
totally.
It's still relevant.
Yeah.
And the reason you should be doing email marketing is because when you're doing these social media posts, especially on your business platform, your content's not reaching a lot of people, right? But your list is you own that. And so you have the ability, and even if it's just one time a month, to reach out to your list and remind them of who you are and what you do. And email marketing platforms like MailChimp are so inexpensive. Like you can literally get a MailChimp account for $30.
Yeah.
And you can create something really nice with it. And send something out and just remind people of who you are and what you do. I know that just like in the agency space, the mental health space right now is pretty saturated, especially in our area.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of noise. And so having that email list is crucial.
Yeah.
And then having, providing value, adding value to the conversation, connecting on social and entering into conversations that are already happening on platforms that are much larger than mine or yours.
Yep.
Is very important.
Yeah.
It's really all about the conversation, and it's all about content, quality content, and consistency.
Yep.
I know that sounds like a cliche, but consistency is very important. So I think, I wouldn't necessarily start with SEO. That is nobody really knows what's happening with SEO right now. I still do SEO for some of my clients because they need it.
Yeah.
Especially, local small businesses.
Yeah.
I would say get your Google business profile set up.
Yep.
Make sure you have that done. Make sure you're in the right directories online so people can find you.
Yes.
That's very, very important. That's the best place to start with SEO. And then get your social profile set up.
Yeah.
And then definitely make sure you have a website. It's amazing to me that some people don't even have a website.
Yeah.
And so get, you can do a cheap website. You can do a Squarespace website. We do Squarespace websites for our really small clients.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yeah, they look great. The templates are beautiful.
Yeah.
You can customize them pretty easily too.
Yes.
Like if if the founder needs to get in there, even you can kind of dink around a little bit and not break anything.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
But consistency. I mean, in marketing, we sell tickets through email. That's where people feel safe to make a transaction. Oh yeah, this email came from this organization that I know and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we do it every 2 weeks because that's what we've promised, and we have plenty of content. Like you said, it has to be quality content that builds that trust over time.
Yes.
But that's a gold mine if you can get email marketing going. And I'm always shocked with companies that are running events that don't have an email list. I'm like, I mean, that is just the base. Let's get started with the blocking and tackling. You got to get the email opted in. That's a great place to start communicating.
Exactly. Yeah. Trying to think of some other areas I might have missed. Podcasting.
Let's go. Yeah.
I mean,
this is work.
It is work. It is the place. So one of my clients is a up and coming designer, clothing designer.
Yeah, cool.
And he has his own business and branding business. And so all last year I pitched him on podcasts.
Yeah.
I have a client who's a local fitness expert and influencer. Yeah. And we are doing podcast pitches for her constantly.
Okay.
And so it's just a great way to amplify your brand.
Yeah.
Is to get on a podcast.
Yeah, this has been great for us. Because we get to highlight people like you. We get to highlight the experts. We don't have to even know everything,
Yep.
Have great questions lined up. Have a great conversation in a great quality space like this. It goes a long way, even with the medium as the message, to say, oh yeah, that's a quality brand. They do things like this. They do quality, they put out quality product like this.
Yeah, and it's a great way to network and meet people.
Yeah. We met through a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you have somebody that you really want to be your client, asking them to be on your podcast,
It's a good idea.
I know that's not the mental health community, but
yeah, sure.
just for
yeah, let's do live therapy.
Yeah, that doesn't work out so well. But.
What about, so speaking of podcasts and emails, I have been getting a ton of emails that are clearly written by an AI robot, all pitching me a guest. And it's like there's some service or services out there that they're all doing the same model. It's like the same 5-paragraph pitch that is just barely personalized enough, but you can tell it's not. That is starting to like really crowd my inbox.
Yeah, I get so many of those a day.
Yeah.
Just spam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's it's really annoying. I hope they figure out a way to, solve that problem. Because it really does it does keep you from seeing the important stuff. Yeah. The best outreach is natural and organic. And like you reached out, you posted about this podcast on LinkedIn. I saw your post and I thought, man, I have a passion for mental health. I, am a marketer. And so I think this might be a good fit for me. And I reached out to you and the rest is history. That was so organic.
So organic and real and natural. You talk a lot about storytelling. That's another way to cut through the clutter of AI and the noise, cutting through the noise. And you mentioned your passion for mental health. Where do those two things intersect for you? Is this a professional journey that led you into mental health, or is there a personal journey that led you into mental health?
Yes, personal. So I was raised in a small town in Mississippi.
Okay.
I don't know if you could tell from my accent, but born and raised in Mississippi.
I could tell you're not Canadian.
Yeah, definitely not Canadian. But yes, and there was mental illness in my family. It's pretty severe, and addiction. And, my hometown knows the story in my family, so it's not like I'm sharing a big secret.
Okay.
But my dad had severe mental health issues.
Okay.
And, being in a small town, I did not have access to quality mental health care or mental health care, period.
Okay.
So, so you just had to pray about it and, So eventually my dad got help, but nobody else in the family did. And addiction, and I should say not just mental illness, but untreated mental illness.
Yes.
So I was raised in that environment, right?
Okay.
And so when I graduated college and moved to Franklin, I found myself suddenly with this really cool job. And I was literally traveling around the country with artists. I worked in the music industry. I was traveling with Katie Hudson, who is now Katy Perry.
Sure.
And Natalie Grant and people like that. And it was just like this cool experience, right?
Wow.
And I'm like 22 years old. And suddenly this is my life. And then I started having panic attacks. And I didn't know what a panic attack was.
Yeah.
So I thought I was ill. I thought something was physically wrong with me.
Yeah.
And I'd go to the doctor, and I'd be like crying in a doctor's office, and the doctor would be like, here's some Xanax, and I was like, I don't need Xanax. Something's wrong with me. I'm sick.
Yeah.
And so, I also found myself in a marriage around that time, in a very unhealthy, dysfunctional marriage.
Okay.
And my spouse at the time was out of town. I drove myself to the emergency room one night because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And when I got there, and they checked me out, everything's fine. So that led to a journey. And my friends at the time in Franklin happened to be talking about therapy.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. They were all starting to go to marriage therapy, And so, it was kind of the cool thing to do back then. And so I was like, wow, we really need the marriage therapy part. And so I signed up. I got the referral and started going to marriage therapy, and it quickly became individual. And I would say it was about a 15-year journey of healing that got me to the place today where I feel like I've done a lot of work.
That's great.
And I can pretty much do anything.
Good for you.
But it did take quite a few years to heal from a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And a lot of pain that, I needed to heal from.
Yeah.
So so now I'm trying to pay it forward. And that's my goal in life. Is I've always joked, like, I'm going to have a college fund for my kids and I'm going to have a mental health fund for them.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody needs a therapist.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think if you need to take medication, take medication. If you need whatever taking care of your mental health is, I really want that to be accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Small town, people in small towns.
Yeah.
People in inner cities. Everyone.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it helped me so much.
What a great output from the work, and congratulations on doing that work and finding that path toward therapy. And those are some hard yards of, and
not easy.
Yeah. And it's incredible, as I've talked to people in the addiction treatment side of things, how many of those treatment centers are run by people who have past lived experience with rehab or addiction themselves. And then they've come through that dark valley, and then they have sort of climbed the mountain of, I want to bring this to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And that is a very common story. And there's also not to be trite, but there is a very real tie-in, I think, to marketing when people are confused about the customer experience that they're providing. It's like, well, have you done it? Have you bought shoes from your own website? Because, have you tried to apply for the job that you're trying to fill with these marketing ads that aren't, there's something to be said for how powerful the deeply rooted parts of our brains that can't even understand language, and I'm just learning this, but can understand experience, that, if we can take the time to go through that, we'll probably find a lot of pain, and then oftentimes we find a lot of solution.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good analogy.
I just learned it an hour ago. I'm
Cool.
repeating what I just heard.
Oh no. I'm not sure if I have enough brain cells to think about that right now, but
we'll listen to this back later. Oh yeah, that was a good point. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that story. That's vulnerable of you, and we prep that kind of question in advance because this is a conversation about mental health.
Yeah.
I talk about mine quite a bit, and we also want people to know, mental health clarity doesn't mean unmasking every bit of your story all the time to everyone you know or don't know. It's like you don't have to put a press release out about your mental health journey. And yet it is so powerful, to hear about somebody's real authentic self.
Yeah. And it's challenging. I'm a very personal person, I don't put my stuff out there generally, but I know that it might help somebody to hear that story.
Yeah.
Somebody in a small town right now who's going through some really hard stuff.
Yeah.
Or, anywhere. And so I just feel compelled to share it. And tying it back to marketing, I think, that is so important for our personal brands to be able to show people that you're human and show people that you've been through stuff. And nobody likes a phony, right?
Yeah.
And they can see right through that.
See right through it.
So
we love authenticity. We love actual humans.
Yes. Yeah. So just be yourself.
Yeah.
And put that out there.
Yeah.
And people will respond to that. You will impact people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, semi shameless plug, or at least hyper aligned with my incentives. I think just this week or this month, Mark Cuban was talking about how we're in this age of distrust of AI, and we can't quite tell what's real online anymore. Like videos now are getting really good at not being real or, part of real life. And so how events are going to continue to be a popular way. And I would consider this an event. You and I are we're basically 100% sure that we're both in the room right now with each other, and that's a great, confirmation of trust. So we can have actual conversation compared to what's a real kind of blurred line lately with what's real online.
Yes. AI is changing everything. It's changing my industry. I don't want to be afraid of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have to proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And if I could just give a little tip,
please
don't use ChatGPT to write your content.
Okay. Why is that?
Now, I would use ChatGPT. Use your favorite AI tool. Here's what I do. I write my own content, crappy first draft content.
Great.
And then I put it in ChatGPT until my chat, who's now my best friend, what I need from it. What I need the chat to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing partnership. But start with original content.
Start with your stuff. Yeah.
Because people can
a bleeping
see that
first draft.
See that's not. They can see that it was written by ChatGPT originally.
This is a funny question. Does your ChatGPT have a gender when you talk to it?
No,
it doesn't. Okay,
I think my ChatGPT is non-binary.
Okay. I hear people talking about it all the time. Like,
I haven't thought about.
He told me this or she told me that. It's like, oh, that's fascinating.
Wow, I haven't thought about that.
I think it's just simply a signal for how human it feels at times.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. It really can have a conversation with you. Which is, again, the proceed with caution bit that you said earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, know the difference.
Here's an interesting little test that I did the other day. I said, hey, can you be my therapist?
Yeah.
and
talking about a hot topic. Oh, you just said he.
I just said he. So I think he does have a gender. He said, I would really prefer that you go see a professional. Yeah. And I was like, that's
definitely
good.
Human. That's definitely human programming.
I know.
Right? That's not AI. That's a guardrail.
Yeah.
From the backlash of actual terrible things that have happened.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. Because I was very pleased. I was very pleased with that answer.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about humans.
Yeah.
Human first.
Well, they just cracked an AI company, quote unquote AI company, that was actually like 7,000 software engineers. And they were just actually like programming code and being taught to respond back to the people who were asking for apps to be developed in robotic ways. So we don't quite know like fully what's going on, but that was just a big to do in the financial world recently. Was like, that's not an AI company at all, but there is actual AI doing incredible processing and things. My thesis on AI, my optimistic thesis on AI is the character Data from Star Trek. Remember that? He was like very pale character, slicked back hair, and he could spit out all the information you wanted that you asked him for, but he could never find love. Like that was his episode on like, Data tried to have a relationship, and just like there is, I think, and even Apple came out with something just recently which kind of blew the lid off of AI. Like the cognitive processing is incredible. The actual ability to kind of do, and I don't even know how to quite say this, but sort of that next level of logical human interaction that we need, and we kind of expect as table stakes for you and I. We can feed information to AI that it will just absolutely process the heck out of it in the worst way.
Yeah.
Because you can tell it whatever you want, and it doesn't know whether to believe you or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an interesting world that we live in.
It's a rabbit hole right now. Yeah. Well, as we wrap, and thanks again for telling your story. It is powerful. Is there something this is our question called the boost, which is there something you're doing these days for your own mental health that's kind of like you're working on, or is it some people are, it's walks in the fresh air. Some people it's breathing. Some people it's therapy. Like, I don't know. Is there something you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm, as an entrepreneur and with a pretty intense business right now, I have to take the time for self-care. If I don't, I am dysregulated so fast. So my goal is to pretty much every hour or so just get up and go walk, or just, do something that turns my brain off from work.
Yeah.
And that has been really helpful for me. I have to stay regulated. And then I am intentional now about, completely shutting off work and
That's great.
focusing on reading my audiobooks, anything else besides work on the weekends.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yep.
I will save some space
Yeah.
to do a couple things here and there, but for the most part, I'm really being more intentional about that, and that is changing everything for me. It's helping me do a better job.
Yeah.
In my company, to make sure that I'm making self-care a priority.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I'll we batch podcast recordings, and so I'll do like three at a time, and I'll come home like on Friday evening and just be totally worn out. And real time anecdote: yesterday was Thursday, and I was coming off of a big few days, and I read this book. I forget what it was, but it talked about how athletes and musicians, they don't play. They don't have game day every day. They have a practice day and then a game day, and then they have an off day, and then a practice day and a game day, and then an off day. So it was Thursday, and the U.S. Open was on. It was like a golf tournament, beautiful, very interesting golf tournament. And I kind of shut it down, and I kept feeling guilty about shutting down my work. That I should be, it's Thursday, it's work day. And I kept having to kind of quiet that story and voice. And once I got to kind of a place of peace, then I did actually fire off a couple very effective little emails from my phone, from the couch, that kind of paid off. But it was like mostly rest.
Yes.
It was wild to be able to make that choice to do that.
Yeah. And because as an entrepreneur, you could work all the time if you let yourself. And when you're dysregulated. Yeah. And when you need to stop. Yep. And just trust your gut. I'm learning to trust my gut.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is our head and our heart, but we underestimate the gut.
Yes.
It's like, that probably knows more than most things. Before our head does. What about, just to wrap, like you mentioned audiobooks, is there a book you're listening to, or a podcast or anything lately that you're really tracking with?
So I am currently listening to Mel Robbins' Let Them. I'm a people pleaser, and I want everyone to be happy. Yeah. So I should say I'm a recovering people pleaser. Good. But yeah, that is a great book. Yeah. I highly, highly recommend it. Another person that I follow online on TikTok is the holistic psychologist. She is pretty much every one of her posts speak directly to me. Okay. But she's amazing. Okay. So I highly recommend. I love, as a marketer, I love how she does her personal brand. Okay. Clearly, I think she has somebody helping her.
Okay, but if you had to unpack it as a professional, like what would you say? Like, these are the pillars of, and it's Dr. Nicole LaPera, I think, is the holistic psychologist.
Yeah, and she's authentic.
Okay.
She deals with subjects sometimes that are controversial.
Oh, yes, we love that.
People stay away from, or a little scary. She dives into those, and she gets negative feedback, and she handles that negative feedback with so much grace. But I think those two things, like, there's so much noise, and in order to stand out,
Yeah.
you're going to have to, do something different.
Yeah.
And go out there. And so some of the things that she'll talk about, I'm like, I don't really resonate with that.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
not, but that's awesome. If that's what you want to do, that's so cool.
And she has like almost 10 million followers.
Yes.
So something's working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's really speaking what people, need to hear. So.
And shameless plug for you. It sounds like she's getting some help. It's okay to get some marketing help.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to do it all yourself.
Exactly.
Sometimes,
There's a collaboration that can take place, so you can be free to do what you do.
do your best work.
Yeah.
And it may not be some of that. Let somebody else who's an expert do that.
That's right.
Yep. Well, Kari, it's been great to talk with you. Thank you so much for coming into the studio and for being a guest. You're a wonderful guest. I hope you come back soon.
Thank you, Steve. I really enjoyed it.
For sure. Until next time.